Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Bank. Hold on, we can start.
I can't get the got it to go off my screen. Hold up.
Oh, okay.
Because I have gloves
No,
on.
you're cool. You're cool.
Sorry. What can I use to touch this with? I'm like, I get it. It's recording.
Well, see, it's like it didn't used to be like that. They added that feature so that way people would know when they're being recorded, because it's just
right.
Like, yeah, you wouldn't even know. Like even the voice, like you're being recorded, like that wasn't there originally. So
yeah, I did school through Zoom for my last 2 years of college, so nice. It was like, you're being recorded. I'm like, I know.
All right, so yes, so let's start back from the top.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Who's that cosplayer? And joining me today is the very talented Laurath Cosplay. Laurath, thank you so much for joining me up here on a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I am doing awesome. I just finished working out at the gym. I feel really good tonight because I'm interviewing you. Thank you so much for joining me. It's like something that I always say up here is, you slide in the DMs and they either say yes, no, or they don't respond at all. So thank you so much for responding and wanting to come up here on a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer?
Of course. Yeah, I'm horrible with responding to my messages, but you commented and I was like, oh, I have a message?
Uh-huh.
Big brain.
Uh-huh. Well, see, and what's crazy is, people get messages all the time. Like, I'm sure because you're a cosplayer, and it's just like I'm sure your inbox gets bombarded with messages from random people, creeps, all that stuff. So I understand. It's just like I'm staying out of my DMs, but that's why I always comment on people's pictures, because I'm just like, hey, I sent you a message, I want to interview you, and then when you see that, be like, okay, cool, But at the same time, too, you don't know, because you got those bots that'll be like, send me a message, yada 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 yada. I'm just like, who is this person?
I know some of the cosplayers I know have to block the words like promote or like send me because so many bots are messaging them all of the time.
Yeah, and I think the one that's going around right now is, you want an iPhone, just click this link. And I'm just like, how many iPhones have I? I think I've won like 20 iPhones this year alone.
All they need is your social security number.
Yeah, that's all they need. Okay, and I'm mad because I haven't even done like the usual spiel. But have you seen Turning Red?
I haven't yet. My friends and I are gonna watch it on like a movie night. Okay. But I really want to.
Okay, I highly recommend it. Right, so there's this song called "Nobody Like You," right, and this scammer, they slid in my DMs, and I was using lyrics from the song, and they were responding to everything, and it was just funny. So that's what I do. I know one scammer, I use "We Don't Talk About Bruno." They just kept responding to me, and I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna keep on using the lyrics to the song until they either block me or they don't respond to me anymore. So before we get into this interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into this interview. So Laurath, something that I love to do with all of our guests is I love to ask this question: what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. Tell everybody who you are.
Mine actually started with a lie, not from me, but from one of my friends. I'm now 22, but I started cosplaying when I was 13. And that's nice. Because this convention came to town, and I was fairly into like anime and that stuff. Like I really like Vocaloid music, and they were like, oh, you can come, but you have to dress up. They won't let you in if you don't dress up. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, well, I have a month. I'm 13. Let me see what I can get together. And that's how my first cosplay happened. And since then, I really haven't looked back.
Yo, that's awesome. I love that they lied to you and said, hey, you have to dress up. So, we can't move ahead without asking, what was the costume that you cosplayed at your first con?
It was, do you know the show Bleach?
No, I don't know what that is. What is it?
Well, if you can't see with you. My mom's behind me. I know. So she's technically a filler character, Sode no Shirayuki. So that's Rukia's the main character's sword spirit.
Okay.
She's a filler character, but she was designed by the main author. So I went as her outfit. I originally bought the outfit and then we got it, and
Nice.
I'm a size small, and it was a double XL.
Oh
So we
God.
deconstructed it and re-put it back together. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So like, how was your experience at that con? Like compared to, that being your first con and, going to cons as an adult, like how was the experience and the transition from then and now?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a lot to get used to in the sense that well, okay, I've always been really tall, so people have tend to assume I'm an adult since when I was younger. So there wasn't a huge difference. It just wasn't any more of, yeah, I'm 15, or like telling people they're like, oh, let's go to the bar. And I'm like, well, I'm 12
hold
or
on,
I'm 13.
Rhonda.
But they would it wasn't a huge difference. I still don't cosplay super like showy things. No, anyone who does, like, mad props to them. I can't do that. So it hasn't been a huge difference. Just I can drive myself there now, so I don't have to beg an adult to take me to a convention and explain to them what anime is.
No, I totally feel that. I've mentioned this on episodes before where it's like I got into the convention scene later on in life, and it was because I could drive myself, growing up, because I don't want to say my age because it's like I'm 24. As long as everybody thinks that I'm 24, I'm 24. But when I was younger, there was no way that my mom or my grandma was going to drop me off at a convention. And of course, I would have had to taken my brother with me, and it would have been one of those things where it's just like, oh, come on. And, he wasn't really into anime like that. Like of course, he got into DBZ and Pokemon, but there's no way he would have stayed at a convention for, more than an hour. But no, like that's wild that, you said that you were tall and people would just come up to you and they would just assume things, and you hear stuff like that all the time, at these cons. But we're not going to talk about that stuff because that's not this type of interview or talk show. There we go. Because I don't know who that cosplayer is. I mean, I consider it an interview, but I guess it is a talk show. But
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So something that I wanted to piggyback off of, because you asked me if I knew what Bleach was, and of course I troll a lot. So, when I was doing my research and looking at your photos and whatnot, I was just like, oh, okay, she's a Bleach fan. Now, I love Bleach, and when you mentioned Rukia's her sword spirit, because I stopped watching Bleach because of the Bound arc. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was watching this sub, and it was crazy because on Adult Swim at the time, they were still at the Soul Society arc. And back in those days, not revealing my age, you could go on YouTube and you could watch episodes. And so I was watching this sub, and when I got to the Bound arc, I was just like, man, I don't like Bleach anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's filler.
I know. See, back then I didn't know what filler was. Go ahead.
To be fair, when I watched Bleach like the first time, because I feel like the Bound arc was fairly seamless with like it didn't really make sense, but it was seamless. It wasn't just like here's like thrown in. I also didn't know what filler was, so I watched it and I was like, well, that kind of sucked. And then like went on to the rest of the anime, like because it goes way further past that. And I've read all of it at this point. I own 72% of the manga I own physically.
Nice.
But I'm trying to get that number to 100%, but now there might be more coming out.
No, and that's what I was going to ask you about. So are you excited about Bleach returning this year?
Oh, absolutely. I am ready to lose my mind once again. My friends and I usually have watch parties for that kind of stuff. And one of my best friends, Darkwave Surf Cosplays, she is also super obsessed with Bleach. So I think we're going to go a little feral when that new season drops.
Hey, well, when that watch party happens, invite your boy, because it's like, even though this is my thing, like I told myself that I'm going to give Bleach another chance. I tried before, because I finished watching Naruto and Shippuden back in 2020 because I had the time to watch it. And after I finished it, I was just like, okay, it's either One Piece or Bleach, because the big three, I watched them when I was younger, and then like I kind of just fell out of love with anime. So I started One Piece, and I got to like episode 70, and I was just like, all right, I'm good on One Piece. It's a good anime. I'm not gonna crap on it, but there's no way that I can. I'm at episode 70, and then there's 1,000 episodes. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I'll start with Bleach again, and I skipped the filler again. And the episode that I am at now, it was when Grimjaw returned, and I was just like, "What? Grimjaw's still alive?" Hey, I thought
he's good at that.
Hey, what's going on? But you know, one thing I will say about Bleach is that the music always smacks. I have all of the music on my gym playlist. You know, when I used to steal my mom's car back in the day, you know, me and my boy D, we used to crank that Bleach music because like we felt like we was hard driving around listening to anime music. Like so, I want to ask you, what are some of, because I saw your Orihime cosplay, what are some of your favorite costumes that you've cosplayed as?
Well, this cosplay I'm wearing right now, which is Ciri from The Witcher 3, this is my most recent competition build. I'm actually competing in it in 2 weeks. So I'm super excited about that. I'm very proud of it. I actually haven't made my Blake cosplays. Those are all purchased, but I love wearing her. I love the little cat ears she has. I can be a cat girl without fully committing. And then, and she has that really cool monochrome look, which personally I wear a lot of pastels and pinks. So getting to wear something completely different from me is great. And I really enjoy wearing the cosplay around.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I am slowly trying to, you know, be one of those people that just walks around in cosplay, especially like, because I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So, I mean, like, those are pretty much regular clothes. You know what I'm saying? Now, sometimes I have walked around and, like, people are just like, oh, snap, Jotaro. And I'm just like, you're not supposed to know who I am. You know, I love staying in character and whatnot. And I wanted to touch on, because I want to say that I do love the costume that you're wearing right now. Like, The Witcher is something that I got into because of the Netflix show. Now, are you a fan of the Netflix show? Because I know when it comes to the video games and the show, a lot of fans, and the books too, I don't want to leave those out. A lot of fans were upset with some of the changes that happened on season 2 with, and I'm mad I can't remember the character's name. Do you know who I'm talking about?
So I think I'm actually going to expose myself as the worst fan ever. I've seen the first season. Okay. I have not seen the second season.
Okay.
But I have heard about that. I think it's hard to stay true to a book. Yeah. Always, which I say that, and I have also a bookshelf over here. I'm a very avid reader, so if I've read the book, I'm weird. I usually tend to avoid the movie or TV show just because it won't be accurate, and that's fine. Yeah. But my friends who have watched the season 2 who haven't read the book said that they really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to it without having prior knowledge, since it is a prequel. The books are like a prequel to the game. So I am looking forward to experiencing it, but maybe I'll go back and read the books and then I'll, get to have my fun about which one's better or who's the number one, whatever.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And I mean, like, because like D, he's a big fan of the books, and he wants me to start reading them because of how different the books are from the game and the movie and whatnot. And I just know that he was really pissed off, and I'm mad I can't remember the guy's name, but it's I was about to butcher it, and I was about to say Griffith, and then I was going to say Guts, and I'm just like, this is not oh my God, yeah. And then
if they brought in those characters, they're really off.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like you just said, you can't always you can't expect the same thing that happened in the book or the games to happen in the TV show. And I'm one of those type of people where I love changes because it's like, it's not the same thing, you know what I'm saying, that we've already seen before. Just like what they did with the Final Fantasy VII remake. It's like you add those changes to it because it's just like we've already played the game. Like I've played that game so many times. It's refreshing to see something different. You know what I'm saying? So I won't spoil it, but I've read all of the Demon Slayer manga as well. Oh,
and But the anime, sometimes they'll expand upon conversations that happen in the manga, or they'll give somebody a backstory that isn't really touched upon.
Yeah.
And while you can't really call it canon, or you could be like, well, they're diverging from what the author actually wanted, it really does expand the story, and I enjoy it, but maybe that makes me crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're on this topic right now, because I don't know if you read Promised Neverland and then watched the anime, but season 2, like I didn't read the manga. I only watched the anime. So me watching season 2, I'm just like, okay, like this is cool. But then you have all the manga readers that's like, what did they do? So did you did you read the Promised Neverland manga or watch the anime?
Who's that cosplayer?
Arcade Jade.
I've watched the first season and I started season 2, and then my friends who have read the manga were like, this is trash, this is awful. And I'm like, oh, it's bad quality? They're like, no, it just doesn't follow the manga. I'm like, okay, well, is it bad or is it bad? Like, what type of bad are we talking about? Because I loved season 1, and all I wanted to do after it was, I really wanted to cosplay. I think her name's Isabella, because she's crazy, and I love that in a woman.
Well, just to piggyback off of that, we did interview Mother Isabella, Laura Post. You can check out that interview either on our podcast or the video. It is up here on YouTube, so check it out. And I agree with you. Mother, she was crazy, but when you find out her backstory and whatnot, I would still recommend watching season 2. I understand where your friends are coming from, because it's not bad, but they changed a lot of stuff in it. And to piggyback off of what you were saying about Demon Slayer, because I'm reading the manga right now, and I was spoiled about what happened to Rengoku. Like, it really pissed me off. It was like, because this was before I read the manga, but I'm in this anime group on Facebook, and before the movie came out, somebody was just like, if you could have one character from an anime be revived, who would it be? And of course, it had like all of these characters that who died, because the animes have already come out and whatnot. And then it said Rengoku, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, why would you spoil that? And then I was spoiled again on somebody dying, and like, this is the reason why I do not like to look up characters online anymore, because with Naruto, I had saw Obito, and I was just like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to Obito. So I Googled it. I was like, Obito is Toby. Like, are you serious? Like, that's the reason why I don't do that anymore. But I learned my lesson, because I'm not going to reveal it, because I don't want to spoil it. But we interviewed a voice actress, and I was looking up her character on Demon Slayer, and like, as soon as I typed in the character's name on Google, the first thing that popped up is character died. I was just like, what? Why would that be in the search results? Like, it's like, why are you spoiling this stuff for me, Google?
I've been going through Jujutsu Kaisen right now. I'm not finished with the anime, but I've had a fair amount spoiled because I'm pretty behind. And I'll be Googling characters as like so-and-so death, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. The movie just came out, and is it Yuka? Is that his name? Yuta. I think it's Yuta.
Oh,
I think that's his name. Hey, let us know in the
watch
comments.
Watch us be so wrong.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if we butchered it. I'm sorry, but I had Googled him after I had watched the movie, and I was just like, no, what are you doing? No, just exit it, because I don't want to be spoiled. It's like, sometimes you gotta just relax and not spoil things for yourself. And since we're talking about spoilers, and I see your lovely collection behind you, and you have one of my favorite characters, second favorite characters from My Hero Academia, Lemillion. Right behind you. Oh my God. Like, I love Lemillion. He is best boy. I don't have any Lemillion figures, but I mean, you can see all of the Deku figures. Deku is my number one favorite character of My Hero Academia. So I want to ask you about your Nejire cosplay. Is she one of your favorite characters on My Hero Academia, or is that just something that you just wanted to cosplay as?
Both. She's definitely one of my favorite female characters, which I'm so sad about, because she doesn't get that much screen time compared to the rest of the big three. She's kind of sidelined, actually, but I really love her bubbly attitude, and just kind of says stuff how it is, even if it's stupid or kind of mean, but she says it like it's so nice. that you really can't help but be like, oh, she's stupid. um, but my favorite characters, probably, I love all of the Todoroki family, like all of them, like the siblings, the parents, well, endeavors, but
hold on real quick. Hold on. We may be going into spoiler territory,
okay.
So yeah, cover your eyes and ears if you don't want to be spoiled. 3, 2, 1, go ahead.
I wasn't gonna go into like the family. I was just more so saying, because you do see his two older siblings, Fumi and Natsuo, in, I believe, not season 2, no, not even close to season 2, the most recent season, because they have everybody over for dinner.
Yeah, when they had the dinner. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I won't go into the big what I think.
Go ahead. Hey, we spoiler free right. Yeah, we spoiler free right now. Hey, I gave the warning. Go ahead.
Okay. I do think Dobby's pretty cool, and I love seeing him interact with Hawks because that's just a dumpster fire.
Yes. Man, now, were you one of those fans where you were just like, he could be a Todoroki, but I don't want to, put 100. I don't want to put too much stock into it, because I know when he was first introduced, like people were just like, yeah, he's Toya. Toya, yeah. And I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. And then when it was revealed that he was Toya, and everybody was just like, I knew it. And like, I mean, is it really a spoiler? Because I mean, I feel like everybody knew, but I just wanted to not know. Like, did you know from the beginning, or?
I was like 90% sure. I was 90% sure in the sense that I was like, well, he has the same moveset. Like, since the training camp arc got attacked, I was like, yeah, they have the same moveset. They kind of have similar personalities, and just kind of that detached but still there emotion. And just some other little signs or stuff that I was like, well, something's not right. But that 10% of me was like, I feel like it's so obvious. There's no way that's gonna happen. Like,
mm-hmm. I mean, at least it's been revealed. I can't wait to see when it happens in the anime, though, because I already know that the animation is going to be fire and whatnot. And I want to ask you one more My Hero Academia question before we move on. But what has been your favorite arc on My Hero Academia?
Oh, am I lame if I say the tournament arc?
From season 2 or season 5?
Season 2.
No, I don't think you're lame, and we can go into this discussion. Go ahead.
I think those one-on-one fights are super beautiful, especially like later in the tournament. Like, of course, Todoroki versus Deku. That's on everybody's walls as a poster at this point. But the music there, the rendition of You Say Run, and then Endeavor in the background being Endeavor. I really like Todoroki's character growth there, and then Bakugo later being feral was very fun. Just absolutely losing it.
No, yeah, I agree with you on that. It's like the tournament arc is the reason why. I don't want to say it was because, like, when I really started liking Uraraka. I'm trying to think.
Oh, yeah.
When did I really start? I mean, because in my opinion, like, I think Uraraka is the best female shonen character of all time, and I know that people like to crap on her, like her appearances in the manga and the anime, but I feel like every time like she has screen time, it's a significant amount, and she's always doing something cool. And her character growth from the tournament, like, the only reason why she lost to Bakugo is because she was fatigued. You know what I'm saying? Like, she kept getting up. She wanted to keep fighting. Deku is the reason why she changed from, wanting to be a hero to make money to actually being a hero to save people. And then, she went out of her way to learn hand-to-hand combat so that way she wouldn't have to rely on her quirk. And I don't want to go too far into the manga, but during season 5, when nobody knew what to do, she was the only one that, leapt towards Deku to try and calm him down or save him or do whatever. And I just love Uraraka. I love her growth. So yeah, I mean, people, they disagree with me whenever I say like she's the best, shonen female character, because I don't watch One Piece, so I can't really, some people be like, well, Nami is. I'm just like,
I don't know if I would give Uraraka like top tier status, at least in my mind, but
okay.
I definitely think she's a fantastic character. I don't get why she gets so much hate from people in the fandom or against the fandom, like even in season 2 with the tournament arc, because when she's about to face Bakugo and Deku's like, here, I've written you a plan, she's like, no, I got it. Oh. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Queen.
Yeah, I mean she's good, and I love her, and I need to get some more Uraraka figures and stuff. I mean, I got a lot of Deku stuff, but I mean, it's like she gets more screen time.
Don't separate them.
Yeah, you can't. And we're not going to talk about, which ship and all that other stuff, because, like that, I'm not trying to start any arguments or anything. But, moving back along to cosplay, I want to ask you, how different was it because of the pandemic and, not being able to go to conventions? Like, what did you do so that way that, you didn't lose, I want to say, like, your love or your interest in cosplay? Because I know it was hard for a lot of people. It's like, not being able to go to the conventions, not being able to see your friends and stuff like that. Like, what did you do so that way that you kept on staying interested in it?
Yeah, so I definitely didn't like get into full get up or cosplay as much as I wish I did now looking back, just because I'm not really good at taking pictures of myself or even selfies. It's kind of beyond me. But I really did double down on like reading manga and watching anime just because there was so much free time. It was kind of ironic. So I was abroad in China before the pandemic, and I came back about 2 weeks before it started in China, like just absolute luck of the draw. But I came back with probably 6 new cosplays, including my Nejire cosplay, and my Love Live cosplays and everything. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to cosplay all these. And they're like, actually, don't leave your house. So I haven't completely worn my Nejire cosplay. I've been working on her gauntlets and her bracers and all that stuff. But I have, it's called A Certain Scientific Railgun. I have a cosplay from that, and I've got a Zombieland Saga cosplay. Nice. So I think it's put me behind schedule from where I want to be, because from watching so much anime and manga in the past couple of years, I've gained so many more plans that I'm like, oh yeah, of course I'll get to that in 7 years.
No,
so I really just think it's altered my timeline.
I totally feel you on that. And because of the pandemic, I mean, like, it was the same. I started watching so many more animes, reading manga when I had the time to do it. And I mean, it's just like, it just gives you a reason to like, okay, I want to cosplay this, I want to cosplay that, I want to cosplay this. So it's like, I totally understand that. And something I wanted to piggyback off of, because you had mentioned Love Live. Now, I've interviewed a bunch of Love Live cosplayers on the channel. And one of the things that I love about Love Live cosplayers is that they are all dancers. And when I watch their videos online, I'm just like, yo, like, you guys are awesome. Now, for the character that you had mentioned, do you perform any dances when you cosplay as them, or?
I'm not a very talented dancer. I do it for exercise. So I've learned some of the dances, but I've not gotten the courage yet to actually go out there and dance them. I also don't have any other friends that cosplay because I've cosplayed the first season, so the Muse group. So I don't have any friends that cosplay from that as well. So I feel like I'd be more willing to if I wasn't solo in my trying to cover these dances. I did learn the snow halation dance, but unfortunately the costume I'm very tall, so it was very tight on my shoulders. And part of it, you have to kind of like put your arms up like one after the other. And I was having a lot of trouble doing it in my cosplay. So I did scrap that, but I'm working on learning some of the other ones.
Yeah, wow.
But that might stay a secret.
Well, I hope that you can find some dancers either in your area or just meeting someone online, because a lot of the cosplayers who I've interviewed, like the Honey Pop Dreamers is one, where a lot of them, they don't live in the same area. So it's like they video each other and practice amongst each other and, just hype each other up. And then when they do, meet up because of the cons are open again and whatnot, then they just perform together. So hopefully you meet somebody. I mean, like somebody will watch this interview and just like, hey, we want to bring Laurath into our group because, we need some more members. And I mean, just go from there,
I'm in Tennessee and I'm willing to drive.
Hey. So the next question I want to ask you, moving away from cosplay, like what are some of your hobbies that you're into when you're not in the costume? I know that you mentioned, reading manga, watching anime. Like what are some of your other hobbies that you're into?
I'm definitely an avid reader. This is a fraction of what I used to have. I actually had to downsize my book collection to upsize my manga collection. But I'm really into fantasy novels and stories. I know it still counts as cosplay, but I do really enjoy sewing, and I'll do projects outside of cosplay as far as skirts and dresses, that kind of thing. And just to round things out, as an absolute nerd, I play way too many video games, mainly PC.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, as soon as you said video games, like what are some of the games that you're playing?
Witcher 3, obviously, pretty on the nose. I have way too many hours in Dota 2. I love to follow the competitive circuit for that stuff. And Overwatch. So this is an embarrassing fact, but it's embarrassing enough that I put it on my resume. So I was on a gaming team in college, but we were just like a club or whatever. And then we were like, what if we got actually recognized? And the college made us like an official team. So for one semester, I was a collegiate athlete for Overwatch through my state university.
That's all. I don't think that that's something that you should be embarrassed about. I think that that's awesome. Like I wish that I can't think of the name of the video game league that's around here, but it's like they've gotten sponsored and I can't remember, but I just think that it's cool that you can be in middle school or high school or college and you can sign up for a club and then be sponsored by the school. Like that's awesome. Like when I was in school, I wish that I could do stuff like that. Like that's cool. That's not embarrassing at all. But I think it's awesome that like you have so many interesting hobbies and whatnot. And, I know we talked about Bleach, we talked about My Hero Academia and whatnot, and we talked about cosplay, which is the main reason why you are here. So the final question that I have for you is, what is some advice that you would give to anybody that would like to get into cosplaying?
Start where you are. Start as you are and where you are. The one thing I've had to learn the most is to stop comparing myself to other cosplayers, mainly because I don't know, maybe they're a professional seamstress or, they've just practiced and they've had so much more time, like hands-on, that I need to stop belittling myself to be like, oh, I shouldn't cosplay that because so many other people do it so much better, because I'm still me and I can do my best. And I like to show other people what I can do, and be a part of the community in any way I can. But I know it's cliche, but the first place to start is where you are. Even if that's a closet cosplay of your, Harry Potter OC, just go for it. And if you like it, you love it. And if you don't, great, you didn't waste any money.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, that's wonderful advice. Thank you so much for saying that. And when it comes to cosplaying, because it's supposed to be fun, you're supposed to have a good time. And I love that you mentioned, if you have the stuff at home, like just put that stuff on, let that be your first costume, and then you level up from there and you get better. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about having fun. So, Laurath, thank you so much for joining me up here on a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. You are awesome. And before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
I, on most handles, am at Laurath Cosplay, so Laurath Cosplay with no spaces, no dots. I'm the original one. If you find anybody else, that's a bot. Same thing on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Not as active on TikTok, but Instagram and Facebook are where you're going to find me most days.
Awesome. Hey, you already know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at @KingBenji_Banks. On Twitter and Instagram, you can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again, everybody, for watching this interview. Laura, thank you so much for coming up here again. Like I said, you're awesome. And I hope to see more of you in the cosplay community. I hope that we can meet at a con one day. If you guys are at a con and you see Laura, go up to her, get a picture, be like, I watched your interview on Who's That Cosplayer. And thank you again for watching this interview. Like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.